I mean, you have to flex the video.
Alright, so we're a workout. We made a contextual mobile RPG to encourage long-term fitness as our senior design project. Can you press the button? Alright. I'm Joey Bartley. I'm the team leader, and I was in charge of graphics and the game user interfaces.
I'm Paul Hackseth. I was in charge of game physics and the enemy AI.
I'm Prachi. I was in charge of connecting to the accelerometer and recognizing patterns from it.
I'm Garrett Brown. I was responsible for Android and GPS and Android.
I'm Dalton. I was responsible for the database, website, and the server.
I'm Jonathan. I worked on the exercise UI and integration.
Okay. So as technology increases, we drift towards a more sedentary lifestyle. We come home from work or school and we're tired. We just plop on the couch, watch TV, or surf the web in a comfortable chair. Well, at some point, we take a look at ourselves in the mirror and we think, I could probably go and lose a few. So we come up with a schedule for the next week. We're going to run 2 miles every day starting Monday. And come Wednesday, we're probably back on the couch watching Netflix again. So this is because we quit because there's no motivation and we don't see results right away. We want immediate results in some form. So we don't see anything, so we just give up, or we just don't like working out because it's hard and we just rather watch TV. So we looked into extra gaming to solve our problem, and extra gaming is a new field that allows us to combine exercising and gaming to provide a more interesting way to work out.
Alright. Existing extra gaming apps, though they have been around for a while, most of them have some inherent issue with them, which is why we believe our method is better with them. Microsoft Connect and Konami Dance Dance Revolution are very well-known extra games where they try to get users to motivate and move. However, these are very one-dimensional. They don't include the total fitness package. You can't do cardiovascular, calisthenics, and strength. Walk to Bill is another app, and basically its main goal is to try to retain users for the longest period of time. Well, it measures how much you step. The problem with this game is great for long term, because as you run and walk more and more, you get to see a gigantic city get built. However, the immediate return, people walk and great, I built the story, I'm bored now. So they quit this game too early before they get the full benefit. And Zombies Run is basically the opposite effect. People come to this game and it basically adds audio to your runs as you run around the neighborhood or whatever, and continue a zombie apocalypse. However, after about a month of being chased by the same zombies, most users went ahead and put this app down too and went back to their sedentary lifestyles.
All right, so our objective was to find a game that would provide more depth. We chose a role-playing game, and using that, we wanted to motivate a large demographic of people using smartphones to engage in physical activity for an extended period of time to improve their overall fitness. We tried to use the multiple sensors in the phone to expand the scope of recordable activities usually present in these sorts of apps. We wanted to let people not only do things like weight training or not only bike and running, but everything in one. We want to have accelerated returns for initial draw to grab people and get them into it, but then flatten the slope of returns so that people stay with it for a long time and have a gradual sense of growth. We consulted with domain experts with the Texas A&M Kinesiology Department so that we had good information going in and we could provide that information to our users so that they don't hurt themselves working out. Also to help us track, get accurate tracking. We also included something we call the fatigue factor, which multiplies our returns that are fed into the game, which is supposed to encourage rest days and prevent cheating and keep a balance for our users between gameplay and exercise. So if you exercise too much, you're going to get reduced returns, and those returns feed directly into our RPG. You'll see your character grow as you grow, but if you exercise too much, they won't grow as fast. And if you play too much, then your character in the game will get weaker and die easier, and hopefully that will encourage you to go back and exercise more.
So our overall system architecture, the way we implemented these principles is two different engines. We have a logic engine on the gaming side, and then we have a logic engine on the exercise side. And the exercise logic engine takes the exercises that you perform and converts those into statistics that are uploaded to the database. The communication between the exercise engine and the database is going to be two-way, so it can read and write. But then the game only has a one-way connection to the game because the game just pulls information that is uploaded from the exercise engine down into your character's abilities. We also have a third part of the system architecture. It's a distributed system with three parts: the mobile phone, database, and the website. And this website allows you to have a higher convenience as you're using it. So you can see graphs of your progress and entering your data more easily using the keyboard.
So the database we created with PHP, and it's in MySQL. The PHP just calls inserts or updates and gets the information. This is a registration page that is on our website that allows you to sign up for an account, and then you can log in via the mobile website. This is the schema for our database. So the user ID is a unique key, and both these other tables, they pull from that with a foreign key, the exercise tracking table and the character stats table. And this is our website. For example, when you log in, you can go to different tabs such as character stats, exercise tracking, as you can see here, or a leaderboard for top players.
For running and walking and biking, wherever we decide to use GPS, because obviously it's the easiest. We use Google Map API, and we use obviously the onboard Android GPS. What we use is an array of longitudes and latitudes to track your GPS, and as you can see, you can get the total distance you've gone, the current speed you're going, and how long you've been doing it. We can also implement other things like amount of calories burned and things like that, but we just didn't have the time to do it. This is just simple code about how to, get the distance here, total distance, and then this is, displaying it on the screen that I showed previously.
One of the main novel aspects of our app is that we don't only use one sensing device, we use two. We also use the accelerometer on the cell phone. And the way we decided to look at accelerometer data was through kind of motions. And so these are graphs of two motions. It's doing spikes, so very linear motion, and also making circles, circular motion. So the top two graphs are showing doing spikes, and the bottom two graphs are how the accelerometer picks up the cell phone going in a circle. And so on the top graph, you can see that there's a W pattern, and on the bottom graph, you can see there's an M pattern. And so we're trying to make exercises, translate them as kind of linear combinations of these two motions, and try to recognize patterns and exercises that way.
Okay, so for the game aspect, we chose for the game engine and engine, which is an free open source game engine that's in development, it's online, and there were lots of tutorials and examples. And we chose to make a tiled game with a digital joystick because a bunch of really great RPGs out there they're tiled 2D games, and that's what we have the most experience with. And so we have different areas in the game that provide different gameplay. So we have three main areas: a forest region, a mountain region, and a field region, with attributes for speed for the forest, running around trees and trying to get around enemies. In the mountain, we had strength, and in the field we had stamina, so trying to run as far as you can in the field, which map to appropriate exercises there. So if you're doing, if you want to get faster, you will see that your character actually moves faster. If you want to get stronger, your character will hit harder.
So the results we got from the accelerometer data and pattern recognition. So this is actual data picked up from the accelerometer of Jonathan doing jumping jacks, and you can see how there's a really smooth curve, and you can actually count the local maxima and count how many jumping jacks he did on the cell phone using the accelerometer. So we had some, we did a user study on 5 users, and we had various successes and failures. The success rate was between 55 and 95%, and some exercises had a really good success rate. So for example, jumping jacks had a really smooth curve and it was easy to track them, whereas push-ups were kind of slow and controlled motions, and the accelerometer had a hard time picking them up, and so that was maybe the lower end of the success rate. So
These are the results we got, or just some comments that the users gave us, and basically they were saying that the application was accurate, but sometimes it was phone a little weird, and then another thing, it was boring, or the record not only runs but strength training as well. Yeah.
and so this is just some more graphs of the jumping jacks. You can see there's like a W pattern here and an M pattern. Like the red is the W pattern, the blue is the M pattern. You can see how the different the jumping jacks show a combination of 2 types of motion.
This is the feedback we got from the users. It's K-Rate 6 full version, because when we didn't have the whole game. We didn't have just a guy walking around a map. We didn't have enemies or anything like that. We didn't have speeds. So, future we're going to be working on, or future works that what we would do is obviously implement those things that the users obviously said were lacking in the game.
So the future work is we want to make the system more integrated and complete. And a long-term study would allow us to do this. We'd see if there's actually long-term continued motivation to continue using this app. The novelty part of this is that using the accelerometer data, we can detect the quality of exercise and hopefully want to display that to the user. And in addition, we want to present information that we consulted with the Texas A&M Kinesiology Department to the user to help educate them on better fitness.
Alright, we have just a few ethical professional concerns. Ethically, we're most concerned about keeping, because we actually are tracking users' information, where they've been, how they work out, and just general habits like their age and stuff. So we had to make sure that our system was really secure. For our current part, we just had a one-way server that's on its own thing. It was pre-locked down, but if we ever make this onto the market, this would definitely be a major concern for us. We also have to, professionally, to make sure our app doesn't go one way or the other, we have to make sure the user did actually work out and play. If they were sitting on the computer, just sitting there playing all the time, they don't get exercise benefits, and that kind of defeats the whole purpose of our app. So we had to make sure, like for the fatigue factor, make sure we try to get them to go back and exercise. Otherwise, they'll just be playing the game, and it defeats the entire purpose of this project. We actually have a, can we show the demo video? We have a quick demo video, because we can't really show the whole application. It's a quick minute-and-a-half video that
World of Workout, a contextual mobile RPG to encourage long-term fitness. Our project consists of an Android app, website, and database hosted on a server. In our app, users start by registering for an account and logging in through our website. World of Workout uses built-in sensors and collects accelerometer data to automatically detect exercises like push-ups, jumping jacks, and crunches. We automatically track how many discrete exercises the user has completed without the user having to manually enter the type and number of the activity. This is unique to our application. We use GPS data to measure exercises like biking and distance running. When using our app, the user starts the GPS on the cell phone before starting the activity. The user can check statistics as they are being tracked mid-activity. When the user is done, he or she simply stops the app from tracking.
We use the Engine mobile game platform to implement an interactive map for following the RPG style of Pokemon. Our game ties the exercises that people accomplish in real life directly to in-game character abilities. It can be played virtually anywhere and is designed to be addictingly entertaining so that users will continue to reap the benefits of exercising over the long term.
Any questions?
Quick video, we'll range for time. So that was a quick overview of our project. Like I said, conclusion was novelty comes from the using onboard sensors to try to do a complete workout path and at the same time make it very entertaining to an RPG style game instead of a sim style or quick action game that is currently on the market. Any questions?
How do you approach the design of your architecture, like interacting and getting the different kind of bins that you put stuff in, whether it belongs in the UI, whether it belongs in the database? How did you approach that?
Well, most of it deals with communication, because like I said we have a mobile part, and it was considered essentially two entire parts that are actually separated, the game and the exercise. So we mainly focused on what we thought each one actually needed. So when exercise, we decided to make the workhorse essentially for our part, because that's one that has the most calculated results. So when we were debating between UI and stuff, our main concern is deciding where we want to put it is what actually needs access to it. Like I said, the game, the websites that need to know some information the game needs to know, so we didn't put it there, and same thing vice versa with the exercise in relation to each part of the project.
There was also a big integration part where everything came together.
If you had to do it over again, what would you change?
There's actually a few things we would change to start over. I don't know about exactly what each of my group members feels like. I would make sure that we would have more smooth, I would actually try to redesign the game engine to be more two-way communication. So right now it's one way to improve speed and just read from the database to get the stats and stuff, but once we get a more developed game, you'll have such things as items and more robustness, so we gotta make sure we get two communication set up. So if I was to redo it again, I would start by having two-way communication in the game from the beginning, instead of our original thought process of one-way to increase speed, so it just reads and then it has a locally stored copy, just in case you don't have internet access to play the game.
I'd also try to have a more complex classifier. So right now we're using linear classification to recognize which exercise is being done, and so maybe having a more, instead of just using a linear system, having a more complex classifier.
And what were some of your biggest blocks?
I would get in server.
Our biggest block was getting server. Midway through, we switched servers because apparently we needed to open up the port. We needed a newer Apache, so we had to switch servers. So we had to move everything from one server to another server to get the phone talking to the server by getting login and stuff like that. So that was one of our biggest blocks. It took us a couple of weeks to do that because we had to figure everything out and then move everything over.
On the game side, biggest block was that because it's open source, the engine actively changed a couple times during development, like integrating Joey's graphics that he set up and trying to use that with the hand engine code that I pulled from their GitHub repository. I had to change a lot of the API functions from hand engine, and it caused a lot of time hang up.
Did you use anything to manage the version that you pulled?
We use the GitHub repository ourselves.
Yeah.
How do you guys divide up the work? Decide who's going to do what?
At the beginning, we sort of went over the project, we fleshed it out on what parts were needed, and went over what sort of expertise or experience each of us had and what we were each interested in. Sort of as a group decided who would have each part, and then as the semester went on and we had more presentations and paperwork sort of stuff, we adjusted as needed.
Did y'all assign a specific project manager or one that would kind of lord over the rest of the?
We had a team leader.
We had a team
Joey.
leader, yeah. I was making sure that at some point, like sometimes the server people would be so tuned into the server in the game engine, we had to make sure, hey, we got to make sure we get the communication set between it. So we did have an overall time schedule to make sure we had at least a complete baseline done. Like I said, this whole project is very robust. We have a website design and stuff, so we have to make sure that if we can, with more time, we can get a much more developed system, but we just wanted the essential baseline for our initial presentations.
So it sounds to me like you guys have some dependencies across the team.
Yes.
How did you manage those dependencies?
We used a Gantt chart at the very beginning, and we actually also did a recommendation by Professor Hammond. We did user studies, where we decided user studies, and we just said, say user wants to do this, and then we decide, okay, we're gonna have that implemented by this time, and we went down through Gantt charts and information like that.
How are the team dynamics?
It is a rather large team, as you can tell, 6 people. Sometimes it was hard trying to make sure all the team members got their parts done in time. Issue mainly was actually communication, finding a time when all 6 of us outside of class needs to meet. This is, like I said, seems like a project, we need more lab time. So that was very fun, trying to make sure, working 6 college students, trying to get them all meeting in one spot.
So was all communication face-to-face, or did you have?
No, we had face-to-face, we used email, we used cell phone, we had to branch out. I think we used Skype a few times too. Because we weren't just physically couldn't be there.
Okay.
Did you try to address your biggest risks first, or was there something you put off on the back burner and said, oh, we'll worry about that later?
We tried, the main focus was to get a baseline done, like I said, basic communication. Like I said, there's a lot more implementation we want. Like our battle system is right now mainly contact-based battle system. We're going to be projectiles and stuff, but considering we just want the basics of it set up. So when we were looking at our risk, we was pretty much focused, okay, do we need it for the central baseline so we can just study and get these results done within the semester? Or can we just add that in later? Which I believe that was actually planning on continuing this project if possible. And actually,
For example, like I wanted to add in calories, but my calories are burning, but of course I had to put it off and make sure that we got the just basic GPS going, basic distance and time before we could get calories.
Did you have a lot of stuff that you added in as you went along, or did you kind of stick with, okay, this was what we decided to do at the beginning, this is what we're going to do?
I say, well, a lot of plans were added and stuff. The essential core features never really changed. We wanted the communication through what each part did, the exercise game webpage. But there's a lot of, as for extra features, calorie burners, detailed knowledge base, and especially off the game. We want the game to be as much intriguing as we can. We're going to make sure the game is just a part of the entire system, so we can't just make super awesome that and neglect the rest. I think we have time for one more question, actually.
I have
Can we-
one more. I went in and added a bonus system, a bonus of the day kind of thing. So, like, depending on the day, year, month, you can, for that day, you get maybe like +3 strength or +2 stamina or something.
One question, or are we done? We're out of time for
I could do one more
one more question.
You guys have done a good job of identifying a fun tool to exercise, and it looks like you guys got some really good dynamics in the team. What are you gonna do with this tool going forward? I saw some future opportunities in one of your slides, but what is the knowledge of this tool and this solution, I'm gonna call it solution, this Xeract, whatever I did? Right. How are you gonna move this forward?
I think, well, depending on who wants to work, I know Jonathan wants to work on it over the summer, but we could possibly commercialize it at some point.
Our main goal of next, we have a lot of short-term stuff. Like I said, we were able to measure how accurate different people had doing push-ups and stuff. But what we really want to do is get a more baseline and then put it on the market and basically do a user study where we run for like an entire month. And we compare our app retention rate of users to like Zombies 1, Run, or Walk to Build, the two other our main goals we wanted to beat, and see exactly how well we matched up against them and continue to improve it based on how many users and play the game and their suggestions.
Cool. Let's give applause to Team World Workout.